Good morning, this is Jack from Charts in the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 15th of January. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn for it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, just wanted to have a quick look at something this morning. Now, obviously, we've been seeing some weakness on NASDAQ the last few weeks, and I just wanted to have a slightly more in-depth look at that. Now, looking at Amazon is down. Obviously, the high was made at the start of December. It hasn't retested that. It's not close to retesting that. This could be a bull flag forming, but actually the obvious read is this is a head and shoulders, which is broken down with the target in the 243 area. Obviously, these are, I'm looking at the Magnificent Seven today, but obviously in terms of the impact on the market, these are huge, all of them. So this is a big thing here, and this has got a very attractive target down the 243 area, which is a possible larger head and shoulder target, head and shoulder neckline. So watching that with great interest. No current negative divergence on the daily chart, and nothing on the weekly chart either, really. But I am thinking about that. And at the moment, we have broken down below the weekly middle band. All right, let's have a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, looking at the daily chart, we've got a little head and shoulders here, which is broken down with a target at about the 144 area. Morning, Doug. I'm just going through looking at some of the Magnificent Seven to talk about that, because one of the big things of the last few weeks is that we haven't been seeing a new all-time high on NASDAQ, which of course was the main engine of the market last year. Now, I was talking about Apple, where we've got this very nice looking little head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 243 area. 243 is a possible head and shoulder neckline, so that's a very obvious target to get to. And at the moment, I'm not seeing anything to suggest it won't make it. Looking at NVIDIA, we've got a little head and shoulders, which is broken down here, but I've got to say, we may well be forming a much larger and better head and shoulders here. This one's perfectly valid, don't get me wrong, but it's not as nice as the one that looks like it's forming here. If this sees a breakdown, then we could see a move down to about the 130 area on NVIDIA. And given that this, well, at the peak at 212, again, this is back in late October, and it hasn't made a new high since. So, and this is one of the reasons these two are one of the key reasons that NASDAQ hasn't made a new high. So if this is going to head lower, obviously that's going to have a big impact. Looking at Microsoft, we have a little potential double top here. The patterns it's set up isn't as clear here, and we may be forming a large double top. But nonetheless, the last time we made a new all-time high on Microsoft was actually July. This could be a double top. If so, that's broken down below 491.45 with a target in about the 62. So that would be in about the 429 area. Now, we're not that far away from that. And obviously looking at it, we might well make it. But again, all these three are whales. And this is a big impact. Now, Amazon has been doing better, but this still hasn't made a new all-time high since late October. Do I think it's going to retest that high? I think it might well, yeah. And I don't have a pattern which is firmly pointing down here, which is a good thing. But nonetheless, this has been very slow to retest the high and isn't particularly close to doing so at the moment. The last 2 or 3 days particularly have been, it's given back a lot of the gains it's made recently. All right, let's have a look at Google. Now, Google's been doing very well indeed. Now, because partially they seem to be in the lead in the AI race at the moment. So here, the all-time high before the decline into the April low was 207. It's actually made it all the way up to 341. This is doing obviously positive things in terms of the market. It's just fighting against the others, none of which have made a new all-time high in a while. But nonetheless, this is looking pretty good. No particularly obvious stopping pattern here. No negative divergence worth the mention. I don't think. Nope. So, we've got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing, but we're in really strong uptrend. RSI looks like the Rocky Mountains. So that one looks pretty solid, but it's already been making pretty solid highs. All right, George. In terms of Meta, we've got daily chart here. We got a potential level top here. We did have a head and shoulders here, which broke down, and that had a target at about the 590 area, but obviously that target has already been made. We'll see how this goes from here, but again, this last made a new all-time high in August. Looking at Tesla, has made a new all-time high here. Got to say, this is the least solid. I mean, really, there's a sort of very big vaporware element to Tesla, where it's mostly about talk and not hugely about action. But we've gone back. We made a new all-time high at the beginning of 2025 or late December, and we've gone back and we've done a full retest of that. I don't have a strong sell signal here. We are holding the weekly middle band, which is clearly the main support level here. So I'm watching to see what develops here. Nothing really looking particularly bearish on the chart. It's just I have serious doubts about Tesla in more or less every respect. So could we be forming a head and shoulders here? Yes, but it's not compellingly good. We will see. What I'm mainly watching is this rising support trend line here, which I've got in the 415 area. But really, between the Magnificent Seven, the ones which are the really solid performers at the moment are Google. Well, actually, it's mainly Google. Meta's been also a pretty good performer. And has made it back and made a new all-time high over the early 2000 high. But really, these were the main reason we went. The market went much last year, but so far they're being very resistant to making the all-time highs. While that remains the case, if it's got more downside, then it's going to likely to drag the market down. All right, let's have a look at ES. Okay, now a couple of days ago, I said I was talking about the all the sell signals fixed and brewing. I think that was on Monday, and no, Tuesday morning. And we have obviously all of those made target, apart from the one on RTY, because RTY didn't really see a retracement at all. So we've still got a 60-minute sell signal there. All the others have made target, apart from ESTX, which only made the possible near miss target, but really, that's close enough. So quite liking that. In terms of topping patterns here, nothing particularly obvious on SPX. We did have a nice looking little double top there, but it really wasn't that nice looking. The only one with a really good looking pattern here is YM. It's got a very nice looking potential double top, and that hasn't broken down yet. Looking at RTY, barely moved the needle on the downside. NQ, it's recovering what it lost quickly, but we haven't come. This bull flag that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, this made target, but we haven't really got any further than that. We do have a bigger picture bull flag target up at a retest of the all-time high, and maybe it can make that, but we're going to need a bit of action from the big Magnificent Seven if we are going to see that, because without them, it's going to without the Magnificent Seven, it's going to be extremely difficult to make a new all-time high. In terms of DAX and SDX, these have just been powering up. Okay, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, yes. No current negative divergence, and on SPX we got down below the 50 level on the RSI yesterday. So once again, like the last time we were doing a retracement like this, we're not actually going to see an RSI 5 sell signal because we've gone too low in the first place. We have broken down below this rising support, and we have tested the daily middle band. I am thinking we may be in a topping process here. In terms of the hourly chart, we've got a very nice looking rising wedge here. You can see that in close up on the 15-minute chart, and it's pretty peachy. And this is a breakdown. We may well be topping out, but that topping out may well require a high retest. In terms of the Qs, we did a fairly aggressive back test of the daily middle band, and we got back to the 50 DMA. But it held it, and that's still looking pretty good. And that is the main support level, and that has held. In terms of the short term, we did break the rising support trend line, such as it was. We didn't really have an overall wedge here or a decent pattern of any kind. We will see how it goes from here, but we do have this bull flag channel, which is broken up with the target at a retest of the all-time high, so I am thinking that might be on the cards. A couple of these have got RSI 14 buy signals fixed yesterday, and we've been seeing that action continuing overnight. DAX, Diet, we've got a really, really nice rising wedge here from the April low. It's a peach. We've got a lovely looking potential level top. Hasn't broken down yet. Isn't mirrored on any of the other indices. So if we were looking at a large decline in the near future, I'd be expecting to see more than this. If we were just looking at dire incidents in isolation, this would really looking impressively bearish, but we're not. In terms of the daily chart, we had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and that hasn't made target yet. But I'm looking around, and it doesn't appear that we're going to be seeing any other daily sell signals in the near future. So, again, it is alone. In terms of the short-term pattern from this low here in late November, nice move up, lovely wedge, hasn't tested wedge support yet. This could go higher, this could expand, but at the moment it's a pretty nice setup. It's a pretty nice looking double top, and I'm watching that with some interest. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart, and on the daily chart we've got, hang on. Daily chart, we've got a very nice looking wedge here from the April low. This could be expanding higher, or this could be a bearish overthrow. We could set up some nice negative divergence on the daily RSI 5, but it would need to see a decline first. In terms of the decline, nice decline we were seeing on SPX yesterday, we actually made a new all-time high on IWM yesterday, so it wasn't really being followed. On the hourly chart, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. In terms of the short-term trend line, we've got a nice looking rising wedge here, and again, that looks like it might be overthrowing. We shall see. Looking at DAX, heading higher. Nikkei heading higher considerably. I think this partially might be because the Japanese Prime Minister has called an election, and is looking for to consolidate and get a better majority. So, and I think the markets likes her and is thinking she might well get that. So, nice higher high there. This does not look like a level top at the moment. Okay, let's have a look at DX. DX is coming back up into a retest of this high. We still have a double bottom target in the 99.35 to 99.43 area. In terms of the euro, this is reaching the double top target here at the moment. Could this be an overall bull flag? Yes, but not a particularly nice one. GBP USD is having another crack at getting down towards this double top target. Now, in terms of where DX might go from here, it does not need to stop in this area. It could go back up and retest the high in the 100 area. And if we did that, then we would making this double top target on GBP would actually be quite doable. I've got that in the 1.3232 to 1.3264 area. Looking at USD/JPY, obviously, when we're looking at this double top, this pattern breaking up on DX a couple of weeks ago, I was saying this was unfinished business to the upside, retesting this high with this white line, and obviously we've done that, so we've no longer got that upside there. But I do still have a target, a retest target in the 162 area, and we would be clear to go up to there as far as I'm concerned. USD CAD, we've got a nice looking IHS which is broken up with a target in the 1.3812 area, and I'm liking it. It's that's looking pretty good. So waiting to see if that makes target 2. Possible topping action on Australian dollar, possible big head and shoulders forming here, possible level top breaking down on NZ. All right, looking at CL. CL, we've seen a sharp spike up and we've seen a reversal here. Sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. Not seeing a really obvious larger pattern here, so I haven't drawn one in. We will see what this develops into, but it wouldn't astound me to see this given back. But there are a couple of arguments in the other direction. One is that we've got an IHS here on HO, which has got a target in the 2.3035 area, and we've got close, but we haven't made that target yet. RBOB, we've got a double bottom target in the 1.856 to 1.863 area, and we've got close, but we haven't made that target yet either. I'm thinking those targets may get made. CL, we've got to reach the possible near miss target on the sell signal. HO, haven't reached that yet, but we have reached it on RBOB. NG has been continuing lower. Nothing really compelling in terms of a rally here so far. I'm thinking this could go significantly lower. In fact, I'm wondering about a possible target in the 2.6 area, which, having just come down from 5 to 3.1, doesn't look unduly ambitious. GC, we are forming a possible little head and shoulders here. 60-minute sell signals reached possible near miss target. We're in a slightly rough channel here, and I'm wondering about a move to test the support here in the 45.50 area. Not seeing anything compelling saying that we're about to see a big retracement start on metals, although I have seen a couple of people talking about that as a possibility. SI made it up to almost 94. Wow. 60-minute sell signal is fixed. Hasn't made the possible near miss target yet. Palladium. I've still got a target above up in the 2010 area. On platinum, I've got a target above at a retest of this high here, just at about the 25.45 area, and I'm still leaning towards those targets getting made. HG, we got a very nice looking little double top here. I was saying we would form a nice looking pattern if we saw a break up to retest this high. We've seen that, and this still is a very nice looking double top. Testing the monthly pivot at the moment, I am wondering if this might break down and separate from precious metal. This is most definitely not a precious metal, but I do understand, or at least I've been reading, that copper is going to be intensely used in making data centers, which of course is a big source of demand, even if construction, which is probably the main source of normal demand, is looking very weak. Okay, let's have a look at KC. KC, we've broken down below this rising support trend line, and I'm wondering about seeing a retest of this low here in about the 338 area. SB has broken down from this rising support trend line. I'm thinking we're probably going to see a retest of this low here in about the 14.03 area. CC, I was looking for a retest of this low, and we've seen a retest of this low. Could this be a lot bigger picture double bottom? Maybe. Gotta say, overall on the bigger picture, I'm leaning towards more downside, but we do have a 60-minute buy signal fixed. On CT, double bottom has broken up, and it's thinking about what to happen here. This is starting to look like a bullish triangle forming. And if so, this would resolve most likely into a full retest of this high here at 65.75 and probably higher into this target in the 66.80 to 67 area. Lumber has broken up from a double bottom here. It's nice. It's got a target in the 643 to 25 to 646.5 area, and I'm not seeing anything to suggest that won't make target at the moment. On wheat, this double top bottom here hasn't actually failed because these don't fail in the same way that inverted head and shoulders do. Got to say, we rejected so fast and so hard, and kind of leaning towards. Hang on, wait a second. Let's have a quick look at the question. I seem to remember a while back you mentioned the head and shoulders was the most common major top pattern. How do wedges compare as far as major topping pattern frequency? Wedges are not topping patterns. Head and shoulders, and actually, head and shoulders is not the most common major top pattern. Usually, it's actually double tops of one kind or another. 70. I went through and had a look over a long period on SPX a while back, and I reckon that in terms of frequency, double tops of one kind or another were about 70%, and much of the rest was head and shoulder patterns. So head and shoulder patterns are less common. Wedges aren't topping patterns; they're trending patterns. And they're mainly useful because you see when you break down from those, you see a potential break of the trend with a potential retracement, possibly sometimes a full reversal, but usually you will see like a fib retracement, and you will see an expansion upwards. You could expand then the current pattern, or you could form a new trending pattern. Okay, wheat. Leaning towards seeing a retest of this low. Corn, we had this big breakdown, and we've got what looks like a bear flag forming. Week 60-minute buy signal is fixed, hasn't made the target yet, or the possible near miss target, but this looks like it's going to break down into a retest this low here at 417 and a quarter approximately. On soy, we retested this low, and we've got a very nice looking potential little double bottom. Don't know if it's going to break up, but it is very nice. We got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. On ZL, this could still be a bear flag. It's gone a bit high for that. 60-minute sell signal fixed, and that's now reached the possible near miss target. Keeping an open mind, but really I'm not looking for anything particularly bullish on on soy or soybean oil. On live cattle, we had a range here and broken up into a bigger range. I think this is likely to resolve bullishly as well. On HE, we had a range here and then we've broken up into a higher range. This could be a double top forming, but it doesn't look like it. I think this is a bullish consolidation before a move higher. All right, great. In terms of the stats, we've got a neutral day today, we've got a bullish day tomorrow, and I think we're probably owed a retest of this high. That could well be a second high of a double top. I'm still leaning towards the downside here. Yeah, I think I just wanted to go through because I thought it was a good opportunity today. Well, I hope it is. But I think I'm planning a post on that, but I just wanted to go through and spend a few minutes doing it because it's something I should do every so often. And the NASDAQ thing is the big odd thing about the market here. So I just wanted to have a closer look at it. All right, great. No worries, mate. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Cheers.